Hello, everyone. I am Heather Fleming, founder of Conscious Nutrition and a certified clinical nutritionist who is a joyful food relationship expert. Today, I want to share with you our Conscious Nutrition food tree. As a nutritionist, the number one question I get is, Heather, what should I eat? Honestly, I don't know, but you know what? I know you do. So instead of giving you the giving you the fish, we want to teach you how to fish because everybody's bodies are different and every day is different. So when you connect with your body and nourish it the best you can, you will feel your best self and the healthiest version of you. So please have fun while we share the Conscious Nutrition food tree with you. This food tree is going to help you consciously meal plan, prepare, and nourish your body. The food tree is a visual tool that uses a variety of healing modalities to support you to combine certain foods properly. When I started out as a nutritionist, I had little pieces of paper and I was trying to help people meal plan. I was trying to be with them at their kitchen, with them at the grocery store, and with them while they're in their fridge. But instead, this tree came to life with, thank you to my friend Jean Rivaldi. This tree came to life as I just kept saying most of us are visual. So this tree is just for you to use as you experiment with your body. Of course, there's tons of science and other healing modalities behind the tree, such as food combining, alkaline diet, pH, paleo diet, vegetarian diet, because there's so many different types of eating. And so we implemented all of that in there for you to help learn what your body needs. So again, this is experimenting with your own body, and that's all that matters. And what you do is you observe how you feel after each meal. So let's head to the food tree. The main foundation of the food tree is the trunk, which is vegetables. Vegetables here, I didn't get to put all of them in there because I tried to keep the food tree cute. But most every vegetable is in there, except I have be a little mindful and cautious of nightshade vegetables, which are eggplant and some of the pepper family, especially green peppers. Some people have some stomach aches with that. But otherwise, every vegetable is wonderful in there. We even had some more advanced vegetables such as fermented vegetables and sprout and sea vegetables there too. But this is your foundation. So starting with the vegetables here, that's going to build a solid foundation. Most people, especially in America, we don't eat enough vegetables. We tend to eat too many of the other food groups, which we'll talk about. We're going to head up to the protein side of the tree. The protein over here is the protein branch. That's your salmon, fish, grass-fed beef. We have dark meat, poultry here, low mercury whitefish, duck, buffalo, lamb, protein powders, beans and lentils, organic free-range eggs, occasionally white meat, poultry, and game meat. The reason I put only organic with the eggs here on the tree is because I didn't want people to have a reaction if they saw only organic and they felt they couldn't take that on. However, with all my research, I do suggest if you can pay a couple dollars more to find farm fresh eggs or organic, I recommend that highly. Also, another thing that comes up here with the protein side is the dark meat poultry. Everyone's like, Heather, why do you recommend dark meat over white meat? Dark meat actually has the blood flow in that part of the chicken or the turkey, so it's the legs has the blood flow and more iron. White meat is a gland, so the breast is a gland, is a whole different tissue. I tend to see that some people don't digest that well, and we've overconsumed it too, especially if it's not natural or organic and there's a lot of hormones involved. Low mercury whitefish, depending on where you live. Over here in California, it's mahi, ono. Be careful of tunas, those can be a little higher in mercury. Grass-fed beef has higher omega-3s than regular beef. And I put beans and lentils over here on the protein side of the tree due to I have a lot of vegetarian clients, and I saw that they were eating a lot of beans and lentils with rice, which rice is on the other side of the tree, which is starch. So beans to me would be probably in the real world, not the tree world, half proteins, half starches. But just to make it simpler, we kept them over here on the protein side for digestion also. Then we're going to jump up to the good fat section. Fats, we have raw nuts and seeds, nut butters, cooking oils, salad oils, and then we have others, avocados and fish oils. Now you can tell that the fat branch or the top of the tree is quite large. This is a very important food group. Again, the three macronutrients are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats are the three macronutrients. People are tending to eat not enough of certain ones or out of balance. So in my practice, I see people tend to not eat enough fat or veggies. And I would even say quality proteins too. People are tending to eat more fruit, starches, and dairies too. So if you look at the tree, that would be half and half there. The other branch of the tree here is starches, and we picked quality starches. I know, for example, like the paleo diet doesn't recommend a lot of starches or some other types of healing modalities and nutrition modalities. However, I want to teach people how to eat food groups, not to eat them. So we have the starches over here. So we have sweet potatoes, quinoa, brown rice, yams, red potatoes, and winter squashes. So winter squashes would be like spaghetti squash or acorn squash. And then zucchini would be more of in the vegetable category. That's a summer squash. Occasionally we have sprouted breads here. We have brown rice and gluten-free options. We have corn tortillas because we live here in San Diego. So I had to put them on there. And then I do have oatmeal there occasionally. That's usually a red flag for people. Everyone's like, oatmeal? Well, I tend to see if you eat oatmeal 5 to 7 days a week, you're not getting enough variety, and that can actually throw off your blood sugar and your balance of macronutrients. Like I said, proteins, carbs, and fat. Then we have, let's pop up to fruit because that's another major category. I have the fruit is an apple hanging out over there by the fats. The fruit is amazing. However, we are meant to eat fruit seasonally. I don't believe fruit and vegetables are created equal for everybody. Unless, of course, you're in more of a tropical area, then fruit is more dominant, probably a little more dominant. However, with fruit in the American public, we tend to overeat fruit, which is a sugar, and we're replacing it with some other nutrients we might need. So fruit is best not with the other food groups except for fat. So that's why it's hanging up there with the healthy fats. So fruit's best as a snack with healthy fats. And the reason we combine things is to help with digestion. So when we dive deeper here in a minute, we're going to talk about the digestion of everything. And then we got the little cute goat over here, which is dairy. Dairy is best over with the proteins. So for example, I love like goat cheese on top of my salmon salad or feta, or beans and a little bit of cheese too. So I sense that dairy does go better with the protein side of the tree. Dairy is not for optimal health for us either, by the way, unless you are using organic, whole raw dairy products, or you can substitute for, if you're lactose intolerant, you can substitute for almond and coconut milks and goat dairies too. Goat dairy sometimes is a little bit easier digestion than cow, and cow is usually pasteurized, and sometimes goat you can find easier raw too. However, there is a lot of cow raw cheeses, for example. And then dairy goes best with the protein there. Then I did put alcohol over here with that cute little wine branch. And why we have it over here on this side is that if you're eating a lot of fruit and starches and you're drinking alcohol, you're going to imbalance the tree. So ideally, it's just to kind of show you that this goes on the same side so they can replace each other. So for example, if you're going to go out and have a glass of wine, maybe don't have a bunch of grapes or a piece of watermelon right before. Maybe have more of the other side of the tree, which fats, proteins, veggies, a little more nuts too. That would be a better way than having too many sugars in one meal. Then the next slide, actually, we'll stay here. So when you go to break down food, we start chewing it with our mouth and then it drops into our stomach. Our stomach is acidic. However, if we don't properly break down food, the stomach will dump the food into the small intestine and it will not be properly digested. So that leads to bloating, constipation, and then food sensitivities too. So that food is still in large particles. So your stomach lining is very sensitive and that food will actually cause stress onto the gut lining. So when you go to eat a meal, ideally we want you to go and have vegetables, the trunk of the tree, proteins, fats over here on this side, and those are called protein meals. Then let's say you're craving a sweet potato. So you have sweet potato, a big salad, and then let's say you put ghee on top of on the sweet potato over here. The ghee is clarified butter. And that would be a starch meal over here. When you eat the whole tree, that's called a combined meal. And when I see people eat too many combined meals when they're stressed and have poor digestion, then they tend to have more issues with weight gain, disease, mental fog, um, low energy. So our goal is that you combine properly so you get the most bang for your buck. So you get all the vitamin and minerals from each meal that you go to eat. The healthier you are, I have over here, the healthier you are and the closer you get to your goal, you may combine more often. Like if you're an athlete, you may need more combined meals too. So remember here, this is protein meals, and these are starch meals, and these are combined meals. I tend to see protein meals need just a little more acidic. So for example, when we go to marinate meat, we sometimes use an acid to marinate it. So just think protein meals need a little more acidic to break down. Starch meals just are slightly more alkaline because of the carbohydrate content. So when you mix them too much together, that's throwing off your pH. It's throwing off that whole gut environment. All right. So here's the breakdown. We went over most of these here too. The only thing we didn't talk about was the protein shake. And the protein shake is on the protein side of the tree. The protein shakes I recommend are veggie-based proteins, such as pea, rice, hemp. I do see some clients do well on egg white and whey proteins. You need to practice with your own body, and I also recommend to rotate too. A couple other tips is if you're drinking a lot of liquids, try not to drink a lot of liquids with your meals. Drink them all day except right with meals. Don't chug or choke though. And then, of course, every morning, try to eat first before your hot or cold beverages, minus water, by the way. So I'm talking before coffee or tea. And your supplements, you can take your supplements. Thyroid, you can take with your water and then eat later. So the meal types like we talked about were the protein meals are the right side of the tree, starch meals, combined meals, and then we call them free meals too. In our conscious nutrition program, we teach people exchanges, and that's how many different proteins, carbs of all the different food groups, how many they need a day to get their balance. And again, this changes every day. So free meals count as exchanges, but not as a food combined. When it's time for meals, I want you to take 5 deep breaths before every meal. Inhale, exhale. This calms your nervous system. And when your nervous system's calm, your digestion's going to work more optimally and you're going to absorb everything you need. That's what it's all about, you guys, is getting your bang for your buck to get all your vitamins and minerals out there. Before you go to meal plan, ask if your body's wanting hot or cold food, sweet or savory. Even if you can't give it what it needs, at least you connected. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I actually did want hot, but I didn't have time for that today. I'm going to make a mental note that tonight for dinner or at lunch, I'm going to have a hot meal. Or again, check in. Try rotating between different meal combinations. So for example, try a breakfast one day as a protein meal, lunch as a starch, dinner as a combo. That's quite normal because a lot of people go out for dinner. Then the next day, flip them around. Notice how your body responds to different meal times during the day with certain combinations. For example, if I've ate really light one day, the next morning I probably would wake up and want a combined meal for breakfast. Or if I got up and had a protein shake for breakfast, I may want to combine lunch and then that dinner of a protein meal for dinner. So this is what you get to play with. We have a food log too that we can email you if you have any questions, and you can start to fill that out. And it's just like a little daily check-in. You become the detective and expert of you. That's what this is all about. You become the detective and expert of you. Thank you so much for joining us with the Food Tree meal planning. If you need anything, just please keep following our blogs. I'm also on YouTube and of course can do private coaching. And we look forward to supporting you, to helping you become your own guru and just becoming more conscious with what our bodies need. Thank you so much.